What's going on, everybody? Here we have a picture of a duck. I'm going to link the image in the description down below so you can follow along with this Lightroom tutorial. We want to take it from an image that looks like this to something that looks like this. So let's just dive right on into it. The first thing I'm going to do with this image is go ahead and create a couple masks. I want one of the subject. I see it didn't select the wing there, so let's go ahead and hit the add button, brush, and we'll just paint that in. Then we're going to right click on that and duplicate and invert mask. So now we have a mask of our background and a mask of our foreground. We're going to work on the background first. I'd like to brighten it up quite a bit and warm it up as well. We're at 32 on the temp slider and 0.6 on the exposure. Now we're going to switch to our duck. We're going to brighten him up as well. Add a little warmth, not quite as much, but we want him to look like he's in the sunlight and natural. We're at 13 on the temp slider and 1.07 on the exposure. We're going to lift our texture to about 20 and our clarity to about 5. Looking at this, I'm noticing one problem. The shadows and the blue and the feathers there, when we lifted them, it brought in some noise. So we're going to hit the subtract button, color range, just take those out, and we'll work on those a little later. For now, we're going to add one more radial gradient and go nice and big across the screen. Make it kind of match these ripples in the water. We're going to subtract our subject. We're going to brighten those up a little more. I'm going to turn my shadow and highlight clipping on. And we'll take those just to the point of clipping. I think that gives it a nice bright sunspot and looks pretty good here in the image. We'll close that out, duplicate and invert that mask. And we're going to bring the exposure down a little bit, as well as warm it up. And once again, we're going to subtract our subject. All in all, I feel like that's looking pretty good. Come back here to our basic sliders and make a few adjustments. I'm going to take our contrast back a little bit. We're going to do a little more controlled contrast with the tone curve in a minute. Lift our highlights some, our shadows as well. Lift our whites a little and drop our blacks. Let's make it nice and kind of poppy there. Now down on the tonal curve, we'll lift our blacks a hair and just give it a real slight S-curve. Something about there looks pretty good. Now we're going to work on those feathers. So I'm down here in the HSL panel, luminance. I'm going to select the target tool here. I'm going to bring that and target the blues and just lift them up with our mouse. And there we go. That looks a lot more realistic. We didn't introduce the noise. I'm pretty happy with that. Moving on down to color grading. I want to go to the highlights, lift the luminance, and let's see what happens if we put a little orange in there. That's looking pretty good. I think on our red primary, take it just a hair towards the orange side. I think I'm going to cool everything off just a touch. We kind of got a little too warm here. 4,800 on the Kelvin scale, I think looks pretty good. I'm going to hop back in the masking, select our duck once more. I'm going to lift our highlights, drop our shadows, lift our whites, drop our blacks a little, bump the exposure up just a hair. One more mask, radial gradient, right on the duck's head. And bump that up 0.5. All right, I think that's it. If you guys have not hit the subscribe button already, please do so. It helps a lot. And until next time, thanks for watching.